Hey, Redskins fans, welcome to the Redskins Rundown for this week. We're going to get into the preseason stuff that happened, obviously, this week. But first, there's a couple of notable things to mention. Chase Young had a segment on ESPN called Chasing Greatness, where his father speaks about his football beginnings and how he became a defensive end. I don't know if you guys knew this, but originally he played linebacker in high school, and he also played as a quarterback as a 6-year-old with 9 and 10-year-olds. So if that tells you anything about the kind of player he would be, it does. And speaking of Chase, Montez Sweat recently said that he wants to break the tandem sack record with Chase, so we all hope that happens.
Yeah.
In other recent news, other than the preseason game, Washington picks up center John Toss. Recently was in the Browns camp last year. He was on the practice squad for the Eagles and Jets and Lions as well. I think the most notable or interesting part of that is he recently has been working as a big and tall model for Calvin Klein, and now he's back to playing football. So good for him. Good for him.
Choice.
I know, right? He's a very large guy, obviously. So
yeah.
But it makes. I mean, I saw some of the pictures. He looks good. You can see why he does it.
Solid looking individual there. I mean,
yeah.
you almost wonder if they're scouting department, we're between digging up Heineke last year from some classroom somewhere, and then
in some math class.
I was like, where are they finding these guys? But I mean, it's working. And then Sammy's Reyes getting him from.
Yeah, Sammy's Reyes from where is he from? Oh, is it Argentina?
Argentina.
Is it? I don't know.
Or maybe it's Chile. It's that or Chile. Chile.
I feel bad. I don't remember, but I don't, honestly. But yeah, one of the. But yeah, he actually. Speaking. Well, no, we're gonna talk about him later. That's right. That's enough. That's preseason stuff. All right. The biggest news for both Washington and Niner fans is that Alex Smith has landed a new job, which I'm sure all of us were sad to see when he retired. Like we mentioned last week, or I wasn't that surprised from it, given his leg injury. I didn't think any team would pick him up. He did have a possible shot going to Houston, was rumored, but it seemed like he obviously was done, and that was probably the right move. But I'm really happy to see him getting a job like that. He's obviously a very smart guy. He's a great individual. Really happy to see that. And then also another Washington quarterback, RG3, who, since his injury in 2012, as shitty as that was, and I know all of us Washington fans, that's a soft spot for us. That season was really, really special, and then to have that happen. But he's going to be covering a lot of college games and I think a little bit of NFL content as well. So I definitely look forward to that.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, good luck to both of them, or, congratulations and good luck to both of those guys. I mean, both are pretty intelligent individuals, so it's a good it's a good next step for them. I think it suits them both well. So we'll see what comes of that.
And last minor news, I don't know how much people care about this, but Quentin Dunbar was released by the Lions, Washington player. So figure that was worth mentioning, I guess.
It was. Yeah, that's interesting because it's gonna be interesting to see who the Lions roll out there at corner, but evidently not him.
Yeah, evidently not him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the Lions too, man,
the Lions have been retooling their secondary a little bit, under the new regime of Motor City Dan Campbell, but yeah, we'll I don't know. Yeah, kind of surprising to see what happened there. I mean, it could have been something off the field. Maybe he fucked up. Maybe because Dan Campbell really seems like one of those no nonsense guys. Like if you violate a team rule, or if you're not in for your curfew,
right.
He's old school. He played tight end in the NFL for 9 seasons.
He just looks like a hard ass. Doesn't he kind of look like Stone Cold Steve Austin a little bit?
Yeah.
When I was watching that game,
with more hair.
I was like, with the hat on and the facial hair and the last.
It looks like he'd fucking hit you with a stutter and fucking drink beer on your ass. Yeah, fucking. But I mean, honestly, obviously, Redskins fans, if you didn't watch episode 1, I'm not hiding it. I am a fucking, not even so much like a Lions fan, but I am a Dan Campbell fan. That man is gonna be fucking excitement. And
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I like him a lot. Like John Gruden. Him and John Gruden are kind of in the same same category.
Not Jay Gruden, Washington fans. We're not.
Yeah. Let's definitely be clear about that. Everybody, I'm sure, agrees. Fuck Jay Gruden. So not him. But his brother, if you don't know, is pretty badass. So.
The best thing Jay Gruden ever did was be John Gruden's little brother. That's all he ever did.
Like I hate the Raiders, I really don't like them, but I like John Gruden, so it's like
there were years where before we got Kyle, I was hoping that John Gruden would come out of the Monday Night Football booth and come coach the Niners, but I'm happy with Kyle.
I just imagine Dan Campbell coming out after a touchdown and you're like, oh yeah, isn't that Stone Cold Steve Austin or am I wrong?
I think that's the Kool-Aid Man. That says, oh yeah.
No, he says the same shit. I don't know, bro. I don't watch wrestling. That shit's dumb. I don't know what I'm talking about. Whatever.
I mean, I think he said something. He said hell yeah, maybe that.
I don't know. I feel like I've seen him. I'm gonna have to Google that shit later and see if I'm just crazy or not. But whatever. All right, let's moving on. We're getting off topic here.
Moving on.
Dumb shit. All right, so into the preseason game, which is obviously what everybody cares the most about. The biggest story, obviously, is the quarterbacks, Fitz and Heineke. Fitz came out. He was 5 for 8 for nearly 60 yards. He looked good. I wouldn't have any complaints. I mean, he took a few deep shots, like we all really hope he's gonna do, and give our receivers some room to make some plays, and it looks like he's doing that. And then Heineke came out. He was 9 for 15 for 86 yards, and he didn't look as good as Fitz, but he did look good. Like, he had aspects that were good. He has aspects that were bad. He's kind of like a rookie. He's like a rookie quarterback in a way. Like, he's not. He's like 28. Obviously, he's not. But in a sense, like, for us, it feels like he is in a way. Like, he's like an unproven. Other than that Tampa game, which was some like crazy miracle.
Much on him.
Yeah, you haven't seen much. It's like so. But he looked good, and I'm excited to have him as a backup and with his mobility. I'm happy about all that.
There was a little bit that I saw of him in the preseason one year when he played us when he was on the Vikings. And he actually led, again, how much can you really put on the preseason? But he actually led the Vikings to a last-minute comeback win against us in the preseason. So, I mean, he's had some good moments. He's had some tape, but he hasn't had a lot of tape in the NFL. But, yeah, I mean, Fitz looked good. I remember that back shoulder throw that he had to Logan Thomas. That was a deep shot. And then I think, like, his first attempt of the game, he hit Terry on a good one. So
the first one. Seeing that connection to Terry, it was like pretty long.
It was like
pass,
a 15-yard completion.
15 to 20, something like that. Yeah, it was nice.
In that range.
I remember when that happened, I was like, oh, you should have heard me. I was like, yeah, like I can't wait to see more of that.
The Fitz magic, it was real. It was real. He got him down there. I think what he played like 2 series. I think 2 series.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then gave way to Heineke.
Heineke.
Yeah. But I mean,
and
that's
Heineke did have a touchdown. He did lead the touchdown drive. So, like I said, he had some bad and good, but like there was definitely good there. And like the way he rolls, he has that ability to roll out and throw on the run a bit. And it seems like maybe he has more of an ability than Fitz. I know Fitz can be mobile as well, but it seems like Heineke brings like another element to it.
He does. And then he's a little bit quicker.
Yeah, and then Montez. Obviously not very eventful. I don't think anyone was that particularly happy with his performance, but he did throw for a touchdown. He did have a good drive, but practice squad probably. Kyle Allen's obviously number 3 if he's healthy. So which I know myself and a lot of people after watching Montez play, and I know none of us really like Kyle Allen. It's like, where the fuck's Kyle Allen? All right, like get this kid the fuck off the field and bring in Kyle Allen right now. This is bullshit. Like,
I mean, he had that nice run. I remember that. Like, he had a nice little scramble up the sideline. For a first down. But I mean, the one thing about him and Heineke that I recall was that they both got more comfortable and started playing better the longer they were in the game. So it's like,
that's true.
That's something that was at least encouraging to see. But I mean, it's gonna see which of the 3, whether I mean, obviously, it's Montez might make.
Montez is gonna be practice squad unless Kyle Allen's not healthy. Then he'll obviously be the 3rd string. But I'm pretty sure Kyle Allen's healthy enough by week 1. He'll be, well, he could be 2nd string, but pretty sure they're gonna go with Heineke as 2nd string.
It would seem that way. I mean,
I wouldn't be that surprised.
You gotta give the kid a shot.
I agree. Especially given the way the fans feel if they give any shit about that. It's like you gotta. But
you almost beat Boston Tam Brady.
I wouldn't be surprised though if Ron, knowing how much he just loves Kyle Allen, just all of a sudden, like it's like week 2, and he's like, Heineke's now third string, Kyle Allen's 2. And it's like, what Kyle. The fuck, man? Like, no one's gonna be, that happy about that, but we'll see what happens. All right, so off from the quarterbacks, on to running backs. The biggest news in that, I would say, Jarrett Patterson, who is a Maryland native. He had a very good first showing. An undrafted rookie running back. He made a big time catch to set up a touchdown and offered up a team high 70 total yards in his first NFL action. 40 yards on 10 carries and 30 more on 4 catches. So that is an extremely promising showing. I mean, obviously it's preseason. I don't remember exactly when he was playing, what quarter it was, kind of, stringers he was playing against, but still, that's a good game, and that's very.
I think he played against a lot of the second and third string guys, but I remember probably. He was the kid that caught the the wheel route out of the backfield, right, to on the to get him down to like the 5 or
yeah. That was when they said right for the touchdown. Yeah,
that was a wheel route. Yeah, you know how I love the wheel.
On Madden, that shark wheel, that's the best play in the game, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you hit it right, it's always a touchdown. But yeah, I mean, the kid looked good. I mean, obviously, running back is a spot that you assume Gibson's going to be the main guy.
There's a lot of depth. I mean, there's a lot of depth in the whole team compared to last year. But yeah, I mean, they just released Lamar Miller, so that's one of the running backs out of the process there. I know we were going to mention that later, but since when we're talking about running backs,
it's interesting to see him go. Since he's got a lot of league experience. I mean, he did miss like a season or two due to injury, so he hasn't played in the league. But yeah, I mean, we'll get more into that in a little bit. But I was kind of surprised to see that they cut him. Yeah.
I feel like in my personal opinion, I guess if he's been in the league for a bit, they might be trying to go with younger guys. They want to. The team is very young. I feel like that's Ron's approach is when he can go young. I mean, other than obviously like Fitzpatrick, but that they had to do what they had to do to get a quarterback.
Yeah,
but he's also like young at heart. He's like a kid. I want to say almost like the way he acts. His presence. You're like, man, this guy feels like he's.
Yeah, he's got a lot of enthusiasm, but I mean, I think what could be happening there at the running back spot is maybe Jarrett Patterson looked so good, it was maybe coming down to Miller or Patterson, and like we discussed earlier, this week you got to trim your rosters down to 85. So I mean, if those two were on the bubble, I mean Patterson, looked better than Miller. So I mean, because you figure Gibson, McKissick, Barber. And then it's like, who's your fourth?
Yeah, it's probably going to be Jarrett Patterson, I would think. I mean, given the way this game has gone, I mean, obviously we got 2 more preseason games left. I'm sure we'll see quite a bit more of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's probably likely that would be number 4. The biggest play, I would say, of the game came right at the beginning. I think it was one of the first plays on the Patriots offensive drive. I don't know if it was the first. I think it was like the first or second. Yeah, I think you're right. And Chase you just see him, beat that guy, and he just gets Cam. He just takes Cam's ass to the ground, and he fumbles the ball. They ruled it an incomplete pass for some dumbass reason. Like that was obviously
that looked like a fumble to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Like that and that 2-point conversion. That is a little. After re-looking at that. After re-looking at that, I can see it looks like his knees are a little out, but like I don't know, it's hard. It's really hard to tell. It's like I can see why the ref maybe said no on that, but like yeah, that was two of the calls. Like that fumble, that was a goddamn fumble. Like I don't know, like I watched that one over and over too. It's like that's a goddamn fumble. It looks like to me. But it is what it is. It was a great play. It's preseason. Who the hell cares? None of it matters.
Great hustle to get to the quarterback through.
And then also about that, Chase had said after he said that Cam is like he's a really big guy. Like he didn't really realize how big Cam was, like going up against him.
Yeah.
And then apparently Cam also joked after the game that he thought Chase was bigger than he looked in person. Because they're actually almost about like Chase said, they're almost about the same size. Like Cam is. I didn't realize Cam was that big. Cam is a huge guy. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just like a funny moment, like them both saying, about the size of each other. Yeah. But it was really nice to see him get to the quarterback at least because he didn't play. I don't even know how long he played for. I feel like he didn't play that many drives. But I'm
Yeah,
not
I mean,
sure.
I think he played like less than 10 snaps. I mean, they were real careful with him. I mean, they just wanted to kind of get him, some time in there. But I mean, the D line was pretty aggressive throughout the whole game. I mean, a lot of the time that McCorkle was throwing, I mean, he had some deeper throws, but a lot of it was kind of just he'd have to get rid
Yeah,
of the
he had a
ball real
lot of
quick.
checkdowns. He
Yeah,
definitely did. And a lot of that wasn't even the starting defense. I mean, I would say most of it, even at the start of the game, like Ioannidis wasn't there, Sweat wasn't there. They
yeah,
both didn't even fly out for the trip.
yeah,
So there, I mean, even in the first couple snaps when they had most of the starters that they did have there in, it wasn't just. I mean, that's how any preseason game is. You never have all of your starters in, but at least the first quarter or two is usually the most interesting. You get to see the starters and then like the immediate backup. The third and fourth quarter do get a little. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was really excited for preseason, but sometimes in the end of fourth quarter, I'm like, all right, I've had enough of
yeah,
this.
yeah,
like fourth stringers out there. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm
yeah.
gonna.
Yeah, I mean, it got to the point where you had fucking rookie Ramondre Stevenson out there running for 10 carries for
Oh yeah,
127 yards and 2 touchdowns on
yeah.
probably like guys that are not gonna make the roster. Like fourth and fifth string linebackers and stuff like that. And probably at that point of the game they're just tired. Like you haven't played in a
I
game
feel like
situation.
after that 2 point conversion got reversed, I feel
Yeah,
like they were just like, you know what,
just
dude, fuck
deflated.
this. Because the
Deflation.
play after that, they ran. Was it a run? Was it the running back that ran that long
Yeah, it
touchdown
was
back,
it
or
was
was that a pass?
Ramondre Stevenson.
It was
Yeah,
okay. That's where he got a
yeah.
bunch of his yards from.
We're gonna see
That's what it was.
if he makes Bill's squad.
Yeah, that I think at that point they were just like, dude, fuck it, it's preseason.
Yeah,
Like, it's like they weren't gonna win anyway, so it's fine. But I was happy with a lot of what I saw.
yeah. Definitely a lot to
Last
build
couple
off of
things.
for sure. Yeah.
Um, so we got Sam Cosmi for right tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked very good. We definitely need him to step up and earn that starting job.
Yeah, I mean that'll help. Offensive line. You guys have made a lot of additions the offseason, getting big Eric Flowers over. So it's going to be interesting to see who the starting five are for that offensive line. Obviously Fitz is a guy that'll make shit happen. Even if it breaks down, he'll just start running, and obviously Heineke will too. But you do want a good offensive line, so the fact that he's looking good, great sign.
Yeah, absolutely. And then now to talk about the downsides, the biggest downsides. I mean, obviously everyone knows the biggest downside is Dustin Hopkins. He's just been on a decline. I looked at this earlier because I was curious. Since 2015, he's been under league average in the amount of kicks that he makes.
Since
So
2015.
he since 2015, yeah.
Oh,
So he's not been that good for a while. Like it's not like this is just like a recent thing. I mean, yeah, last season was like exceedingly bad, and then now this first preseason game he misses like 2 kicks in a row.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
bro, come on, like. I remember Ron's press conference saying like, oh, we're behind Dustin and blah 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 blah. Like, well, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't be. But then on the other hand, I do know they got the new long snapper, which everyone likes to say. But after looking and seeing that since 2015 his average has been that low, and after last
yeah,
season when they still had Nick Sundberg and there was no excuse of chemistry, he still sucked.
yeah,
So like to sit there and say it's like, oh, Cameron Cheeseman, the new long snapper, it's like, oh, they got to build chemistry with Tress and him. Yeah, that only goes so far if you actually look in the past. If you look at the way he's been,
yeah,
from 2015, and each year hasn't been that good, and then last year was the worst by far. Lost us numerous games. So it's just like at what point does Ron say it's time to bring in another kicker? Like like if
yeah.
Bill ends up cutting the Patriots kicker that really looked great, Quinn Nordine, is that his
Quinn
name?
Nordine.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
I'm like, bring this motherfucker to
yeah,
Washington. Like,
yeah. I mean, you
like,
assume Nordine will be cut because
and if he is, I hope to God. I mean,
yeah,
after that game, like, it's like,
yeah.
Ron, come on, man. You got to
Yeah,
look
you
at this
got to
for
see
what
it
it is.
firsthand.
Like,
You got to see how good the kid is. Like, you got to see the ball boom off his foot. I mean, kicking's one of those things that's like a lot of it's like one of those weird fucking mental things. Like I know firsthand from that. So the whole kicker thing is interesting, but you'd be very surprised if Ron doesn't at least bring in another kicker to compete in camp. I mean, a lot of teams do. That's what like see, even teams, when you
They
know who
really
your
need
kicker's
to.
gonna be, like they bring in guys. Like I mean, the Patriots know Nick Folk's gonna be their kicker, but they brought in Quinn Nordine. Like this guy was
Right.
like working. He was on LinkedIn, I guess is what they were saying. Like a week ago. So it's like Bill found him somewhere, dug up this kicker. So like Bill doesn't need two good kickers. He's not gonna use a practice squad spot for a kicker, I assume. So
Right.
I mean, but yeah, like I saw somebody post something the other day that said Dustin Hopkins was like the 22nd most accurate field goal kicker in NFL history, and I was
I
like, well,
saw
there's
that as well.
21 guys in front of him. I was like, that's a, where Robbie
And
ranks?
maybe he was. Robbie's up like in the top 5, I think, right? Top 6.
Robbie's sixth. Robbie Gould is sixth most accurate field goal kicker of all time.
Yeah. Okay.
I know he missed an extra point too, but I'm gonna let Robbie go. Like the first kick he attempts in the preseason, all right, Robbie, that's fine. I trust
Yeah,
you.
that was unfortunate. When he missed that, I was really
I
surprised.
trust
I
you.
was like,
I thought he
did
made it at
Robbie just
first. I
miss?
was like, what the fuck? It hit the upright. But yeah, like this is definitely a time where you want your kickers to get into mid-season form. Um, maybe they'll call Vinatieri out of retirement. That'd be fucking dope.
I think my headphones are dying.
Okay, no
Can you
worries.
still hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, maybe they'll bring Vinatieri out of retirement. We'll
Yeah,
have to
right.
see.
Yeah, I doubt it, but
Yeah, I doubt it too. But it yeah,
yeah. And one thing I'll mention also, last thing is I know Jamin Davis being our first round pick. There's been a lot of hype with him, but to be honest with me, I mean, I watched the entire game and like I didn't see anything from him really like that was remotely impressive. Like it just, I mean, I don't think I was paying that much attention, but I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard anything that, good. I don't know. It's first game, but it seemed like from what I've heard, it's like he almost was lost out there in a way. And like, I
yeah,
don't know. I just nothing. I didn't. I'm hoping that this changes, but it's like, if that doesn't turn out to be good, that's gonna suck. But
yeah.
we'll see what happens with
Well,
that.
and again, as we've talked about, we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, like with preseason games. Like, how much can you really put into it? I mean,
I just feel like, I
yeah,
mean, it's just
but
odd when you look at the
it
news
is,
about it and
it
all that,
is,
and then you read, there's like nothing about what he did. And being a first
yeah.
round pick, you would
So
think he would be one of the top stories. And it's like the only things that I have seen is like people
yeah,
mostly just say like, and from what I saw myself, it's like nothing stood out to
yeah.
me. He didn't do
His
anything to stand out.
his
Watching the
stat
game,
line,
if you watch the game and don't see anything that stands out to you, that's really enough. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean his stat line was basically like he was in on 4 tackles, but 3 of them were like assisted tackles where like was in on a group tackle, and like one
mm-hmm.
solo tackle, and like there were a few plays where he just like was kind of like I expected more like sideline to sideline speed out of him, but like you said, it just seemed like he was caught out of position a couple times and just didn't know where he was. There was one pass that was like completed. Um, it was in the zone above him, like it was completed above his head, but he didn't make it like really any play on the ball at that point when Mac Jones kind of like lofted it over his head. But I mean,
Yeah.
he was in on some tackles. Like it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I'm hoping that he obviously works out, but the interesting thing about that is the fact that both Micah Parsons and JOK Jeremiah Akora or Koramora
Owasu
Owasu.
Kamora.
Yeah,
Owasu
yeah.
Kamora, is that it?
They both had pretty good games. I mean, for the Browns, JOK had like 8 tackles and a sack, and Micah
Yeah,
Parsons
right.
had a couple tackles for a loss.
I
And
wanted
those were the guys.
JOK.
Yeah,
You remember? That's who I
yeah,
wanted.
yeah,
You
yeah,
remember? I was
and
like, I hope we get him, and that
yeah,
didn't happen.
yeah,
And now I'm like, ugh.
yeah. It'll.
You know what? There's 2 more games left.
Yeah,
Maybe he was
I
a little
mean,
lost. Maybe he was a little lost, and he needs to just
yeah,
get his footing.
and I'd
I hope
assume
so.
that like I mean, also in the positive was he was named starting middle linebacker this week. So I mean,
That is
I think
good.
that even
That is
though
good, I
like
guess.
we evaluate that way. I mean, maybe Ron saw something that he liked that told me that this kid can play. If not, I'm sure Ron will whip his ass into shape and get him playing like he needs to be playing. Or we'll probably see more of Cole Holcomb in that spot.
Wait. That was Cole Holcomb's spot,
Yeah, he was the
and
middle
he's gonna
linebacker.
start over Cole Holcomb. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah. I mean, they might
Really?
move Cole Holcomb to outside linebacker.
That's surprising, but all right. Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Wow. I mean, I know you said that like he was named the starter, but for some reason I didn't put it in my brain together that that's
but
Cole
that was his.
Holcomb's spot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't like put that together until now. I'm like, wow, that's surprising because Cole Holcomb is like he's like a leader on the team. Like that seems
yeah,
odd that they would name a rookie the starter like that right away after one preseason game that he did nothing in.
yeah,
Like I don't know, I don't think I'm happy about that. Like,
yeah.
like that's crazy. But all right, I mean, yeah, well, I'm sure we're gonna see a lot more of him then in the next week or 2 weeks. So
Yeah, yeah, I'd
hopefully he
imagine
makes
so.
some noise.
Yeah, hopefully we're definitely hoping so because I mean he was the 19th pick, so you definitely would
Got to
hope that
earn
he
that
does
shit. You
something.
got to earn that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, that's it for the Redskins rundown this week, guys. Tune in next week for more news. Take care.